lot of other concepts about that. I mean, that CQRS use to be implemented. And well, if you have some experience creating microservices, probably you deal with some problems that CQRS resolve. So that's it.
Okay, so now we can officially begin. We can bring what you prepared for us, and then we can open for questions and discussion.
Okay. I just made a few minutes ago some slides for show some little pictures. So can I share my screen?
Yes.
I don't know if I
Sure.
share screen. Let me see. That's it. Are you guys seeing my? Oh,
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
I lost my. I lost. Oh, okay, I found it. So. Are you seeing yet or not?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. CQRS means command and carry responsibility segregation. And well, this is a pattern, and don't understand that as a standard. I think some people when learn about a new pattern, just implement every solution, every project using the same pattern. And this pattern, this CQRS pattern, is used just in some cases. So what is CQRS in the short words? It is a pattern that separates read and update operations for a data store. And you can understand data store as a database, relational database, or NoSQL database, whatever. And this maximizes the performance and scalability and security of your applications. So the standard for create systems, are you seeing this picture?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Usually you have the same project and use the same structure to update your database and retrieve data from your database. So, for example, if you have a request and, for example, create a new register in your database, you can just the standard path is receive this data from I don't know, a client, and your data is processed by a structure, usually an application service or use case, and that's it. But you will use the same model, the same entity. For example, if you have, for example, an entity for, I don't know, for product, for example. So your entity is responsible for handle your data validations. And when you retrieve this data from your database, you have to use the same entity, the same class, the same model to show for your client your data. But when you use CQRS, you have two separate structures for write data and update data and read data from the same database. You can use more than one database in the structure in the solution, but this is the most simple example for understand CQRS. So think in a project, think in a solution, for example. You can have a structure for write data and a structure for read data. For read data, for example, here we have the endpoint, and we have a command, and the command is just a class. So it's just for example a DTO that you receive from your client, and you can usually use command handler that will process your data and validate your model. And man, in this case, usually you use the all entity for validate your data, for validate your business logic, and you save your data in your database. But for retrieve this data, you can use another model. For example, if you have if you create a product, you just need I don't know, the name of this project, the category, the ID category of this project, this product, and other properties from the product. But when you have to retrieve this data, you can show this product for many clients, and each client can display the same entity, the same context in different ways. For example, your web application can show your product with its category, and it's your previous prices. So, but in your mobile app, you can just show the name and the price of this project. So, for show the data, you can have many different ways to display this data for your client, and you can have a lot of clients for this. So CQRS resolve the separate of concerns to write code, to write data and retrieve data. But well, this is the concept. This is the way to use and the most simple way to use. So when we have to use CQRS, when we have complex domains with complex business logic, and for example, if your entity has a lot of methods to validate data and validate your business logic, so in this case, it's a good signal to use CQRS when your domain is very complex to handle. And the second point is performance optimization. For example, many solutions many solutions have different loads of read and write data. If you think in a social network, for example, in Instagram, for example, you read data more than you write data. So usually you have a big necessity to get data faster and faster and um, faster and often than, I don't know, than write. So you make less posts than you read. So that's it. And in this case, when you have uh, a lot of clients consuming your read endpoint, retrieving your data, probably you will deal with um, a performance problem. So in this case, cqrs is a good approach to use to solve this problem. And when you need scalability in your system, you can use cqrs to solve this problem, because well, if you separate the concerns, the context to write and to read data, well, I can create another microservice just for example, just for read data. Well, I have, I don't know, each hundred requests, just 10 is for write data, and I have 90 requests for retrieve data. And if you have to scale your service, you can just separate your project in two different microservices and scale just what you need. So that's it. That's a good point to use cqrs. And well, when you use event sourcing, because event sourcing, it's some people say that cqrs has to be applied together event sourcing, but it's not the right thing to say. But when you use event source, I don't know if you guys know what is event source. After we can talk more about this approach. But event source is a is a way to save the state of your entity. For example, if you guys know Nubank, and Nubank use Datomic, and Datomic has a sequential state of your entity. So you can just retrieve or retrieve, I don't know, but you can retrieve your retrieve. Okay, you can just retrieve. Thanks, Gustavo. You can just retrieve your data and roll back for a previous state, for example. So, man, it's a good approach when you use distributed architecture. So it's very good to understand more about event sourcing. And well, when you use a solution based on event sourcing, probably you will want to use CQRS in your projects, in your microservices. And if you have all these needs, well, it's a good point, a good reason to use CQRS, because CQRS in this case will bring you more maintainability, and you can easily handle and involve your services. So this is when you have to use CQRS. In short words, obviously. But when don't use CQRS, well, it's very easy to understand that I don't have to use CQRS when I have a simple solution, a simple project. For example, if my project is just crude, I don't have to use cqrs. If I have low complexity and I don't have scalability needs, you don't have to use cqrs. You just will bring more complexity for your solution, and you don't need that. If your team doesn't have expertise in this subject, like cqrs, event search, event storm, well, don't use cqrs, because cqrs will bring you complexity, and implement cqrs is very difficult for people that never seen the that never seen this approach before, and probably your team will do shit in your solution. So don't use this. And the other on the other hand, you don't have to use cqrs when you have limited resource. For example, if you are creating a micro SaaS, if you are creating a startup MVP, if you're working on if you work at a company, it's at a small company. So usually in this case, you don't have a lot of resources. You don't use cloud providers, and you don't have much money to spend with a distributed architecture. In this case, you have limited resource. And if you have limited resource, don't use cqrs, because cqrs will enforce you spend more money and have a complex architecture. And if you have a complex architecture, a complex infrastructure, you will create a lot of resource on your cloud providers. And for example, if you're working on I don't know, in a public institution, usually you have data centers locally. So in this case, it's not so good to use cqrs. So if you have a simple solution, low complexity, don't need scalability, if your team doesn't have expertise, if you have limited resource, probably if you use cqrs, you will bring unnecessary overhead for your solution, for your application. And well, you probably will spend more money, or your solution will get more complex to handle, to involve. So that's it in short words. And this is how we usually apply cqrs in big companies. For example, when, well, if you realize you have a controller and that receive a command, and this command is processed, and when this is processed in your domain, aggregate and validate your data model, you have two actions. The first action is well, I will persist my data on event store, write only. I will never read from this database, from this event store. And you will publish your data on a distributed event bus, or for example, a Kafka, a message broker, in short words, a Kafka, RabbitMQ, even a Redis PubSub, for example. And this guy will send your data, and your data will process it, and will be processed and save it on your read database, and you will read the data from this database, just this database, just the main database. And well, if you update your data, the process is the same. You will receive your request, your command, process, and save the new state in event store and send your update for your SQL database. And this can be a NoSQL database too, whatever. It's just a read database. Understand this as a read database. And every time that you need read your data, you will hit in this API controller and retrieve your data from this query store. I don't know. Here, the guy called it query database, query story, but usually we call it read database because you just have used this database to read. And well, this can be in the same project, or this can be in different projects, in different microservices. For example, I can have for example, product command microservice, and I can have other microservice carry command carry product carry microservice, for example. So I can have I can have I don't know, I can have to have two different microservices for the same entity, for the same context, is which is product in this case, in this example. And well, why do I will I don't know why will do that in this case? Because as I told you, well, I can have different performance requirements for write service, write products, and read products. So in this case, you can just separate in different microservices. But if you don't have this necessity, you just can write the same the same models in just one product, just one project, just one solution, and you don't need to separate in different microservices. So in short words, this is CQRS. And well, that's all, folks. I don't know if you guys have some questions about this subject, but that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, I have one. Can I make?
Yeah, sure.
So this is a different way.
Marcel, can you turn on your camera just to answer the question? And Alisson, are you going to show anything else on the screen?
Okay.
Are we going to show anything else on the screen? Can we stop sharing it?
No.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay.
So what I want to say is this is a different way to segregate the application, or we use this together the concept of domain. So I have the domain and I create a microservice of this domain, and together I use this pattern and segregate this domain and read and write service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually you don't use domain to retrieve data. So you just use DTOs, for example, just modules. We use domains entity just for validate data. So in this case, if you think about when you have an entity, you have a lot of business logic in your entity, but this logic works just for save the data, just for validate your entity, your state. And when you retrieve your data from your database, you don't have to validate anything. So you don't use your domain entity. You just use any, for example, if I have a table in my database with, I don't know, 20 columns, but my client just use 5 columns. I don't need to retrieve 20 columns to show for my to show to my client. I just need 5, and I just can create a query that retrieve these 5 that I need, these 5 columns that I need. And for example, I don't know your stack, but in .NET, we usually separate our queries to retrieve data, and using Dapper. In Dapper, you can write the simple SQL code, SQL script. And when I have to update a data or create a new register, I just use the main ORM of .NET, for example, Entity Framework. And well, it's made in this way just because usually you need more performance to retrieve data that you need to save data. That's it.
I got it. Because I think about an example. I have a microservice about customer, and this service I make all the operation in the database, and all my roles business is inside this service. The domain of this service is customer, and I have other one like price. I have other microservice, and the in this service care only about the price, and I have other to the products with detail of the project, and price is a microservice separated because have many rules and need more connection with other service. So I have three domains: customer, price, and product. And if I use together this pattern you showing, the price, it's more common. I read the price if I compare with to write and define the price, because we have a job and daily to define the price and update the tables, and all day long my e-commerce will carry the price when the user access this API. So if I use this pattern in this context, I have to split the service price in 2 other services, and one will be the right price, and the other just carry the price. It's correct. And I use together the Microsoft's oriented by domain with the cqrs together. It's correct?
No, because you don't need three different microservices for deal with the same context, because uh, products, price, and
Yeah, because products, price, and customers. Customers
yeah,
and
products,
products price
pricing.
is very different. I know product and price. It's we think this is the same, but price have many rules. So in this case, I separate these entities because uh, to have more scalability to define the price we have more we need more source to define the price because we integrate many services because we have many place to sell like I have the price of app, I have the price of the store, I have the price of the website, and the price have many rules. So I split the product in products, details, and price. One entity I split in two entity because I have many rules here.
Okay.
And if I use the cqrs, I split again the price to jobs to write and carry to consult the price. So I can use this both.
Well,
This is my question.
yeah, I understood, but um, the price is from the product, right?
Yeah, in some project, price can be a part of the product. In this case, a specific case is split. I talking about the application where I work. So this is a production example. So uh,
Yeah, but that is a problem of modeling. It's not a problem of microservice. You don't need to be. You don't need to have a entity for price. Price. It's if you if you know about domain-driven design, price is a value object of product. It's not
mhm,
a new. It's not a new entity. It's not other entity. So in this case, you can just have a microservice for products, not a
yeah,
microservice for price. And the context is the product context. It's not a product context and price context. You can, for example, if you work with aggregate hoods, your aggregate hood is a project, is a product, and uh, in your aggregate hood, you have your price value object that is part of your product, but the price has their the its own business rules. As
mhm.
if I understood well,
Yeah, I
um,
got it. Yeah,
so that's it.
in this specific example, we have a BFF back for front to connect the many microservice we have because I'm talking about a drugstore service. So the drugs, the medicamentos have descriptions about laboratory who create it, description of the details of the product, uh, and the price is very dynamic. Daily, the price update. So it's why this company create a microservice only care the price, and our BFF integrates many APIs to create the DTO of product. The DTO of product is a result of many APIs integration, because it's a very complex company and a very old company. We have many legacy products. So we have this context in the company. We need to split the domain and the area of demand, and I try to think if is a good way to implement to the CQRS in this case, because we already have many service. I think if I use this pattern in this case, maybe I will put more complexity, and maybe it's necessary. I think this the return will be efficient if I split this menu service in two type of service, the read and write, you know?
Yeah, but I still think that price will never get the own context. You'll never, because price doesn't exist without anything, any product, any medicine. So that's it. Price. If you have a context just for price, your modeling is wrong. Your modeled your domain with a bad approach, because price is part of another thing. Because, for example, price it's of a project, of a product, of a service, for example. I don't have a price just because I have a price. So that's it. If you have a context just for price, your modeling is wrong. You have to handle with other things. But in your case, I just think if you have this modeling working in this moment, firstly you have to understand better your solution, and you have to understand if CQRS must be applied in your company, because as I told you in the beginning, well, CQRS is a pattern, it's not a standard. So you don't need to apply CQRS. For example, with the same points that I told you, you can have solve the same problems with different patterns. That's okay.
Yeah.
But if you think just CQRS resolve these points, it's wrong. You can handle with this. We can handle these problems with other patterns. You can study about architecture pattern. And man, I don't know, because if I have a solution that CQRS don't solve my domain modeling, probably I will think in I don't know, remodeling my domain, rethinking in what we have. Because, for example, you told that in your company you have a legacy system, right?
Yeah, many. Yeah.
So in this case, it's very common. People bring the same thing from other systems. So it's not the right way. It's just the way that was implemented. And in many cases, when you work with people that created these legacy systems, they think they have their own thing to resolve this problem. And if you think and show other approach, can be understood as a bad approach, because they will need to update the entire system, and in the many times, you don't have this time to refactor your system, your legacy system. So that's it. But I understood you, and I think you can stud you can stud about you can learn more about CQRS
Mhm,
just for understand if CQRS is your pattern for resolve your
mhm.
problem. But we can talk more about your situation, and yeah, you can explain more, and I don't know, model your design, and I don't know, we can just find other way to solve your problem, because if you think that CQRS is is the only one pattern for um, resolve distributed system problems, I think it's not a good approach for the for all the situations. For example, at iFood, today I work in iFood, and we have cases that CQRS resolve the problem. You have cases that CQRS don't resolve. So
Mhm.
we use other patterns for this
Oh,
case.
nice, nice.
Cool. André, do you wanna show up? I want André to have some contribution because he suggested the topic.
Yes, yes, sure. Hello, guys. Sorry for the noise because right now I am at the gym. So, Alisson, we missed you, bro. In our last calls, last
Yes.
meetings, and congratulations for your presentation. It's really nice. Um, and I want to make a question for you. If I got you right, uh, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah,
Can you?
yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay. So if I got you right, making CQRS applications is not only about uh, split your queries in your commands into different classes or different projects. It's more related to make this and also split your database, your data store, your event store. Is that right? I mean, it don't make so much sense split the query and the commands in application level, and don't do it in your database level. Is it right?
No, CQRS is just for separate. It's just about separate your structure and your read structure from your write structure, and you
Yes, that,
can
but but
you
but we can do it in two different levels, in application level and in database level. I mean, we it's
yeah.
necessary to make on both.
Can you repeat, please?
Is it necessary to make on both levels in your application? I mean, your microservice and also in your database.
No, it's not necessary. Your approach, your necessity will demand what you need to do.
Okay,
And for
but
example,
I can make it using only one database,
yeah, sure.
but it's
Uh,
still efficient. I will have the same benefits.
yeah, you have, because you will have the same benefit uh, if you split. For example, I mean, if you have a structure to write a data and split a structure, split it from a structure to read data, to read your database, probably you will have again, because your application will perform better, you know. But you can, how can I say gargalo in English? I never used this.
Bottleneck.
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 Okay. Bottleneck. Okay. Well, in this case, yes, Michelle, this is a good one article to read about CQRS. Well, if your database is bottlenecked, well, in this point, you probably will choose work with different database, a database to read and a database just to write. But it's not the mandatory have two different databases every time that you use CQRS. In the most of the solutions that I've worked with CQRS, they used just one database.
Very cool. Because for me, the main reason to use CQRS is this segregation of the databases, because you demand a lot more of one database than the other. And for me, it looks like that's the main reason to use that pattern.
Yeah, you have a lot of benefits to use CQRS, and the first one is the performance, and the second one, you can have you can handle with maintainability easier, and change your domain with more I don't know, with more ease. I don't know if it's right,
Yes,
but
that's correct. With more ease.
with more ease,
Yes.
because you just separate your write structure from your read structure. And as I told you guys before, when you work with write structure, usually you will work with your entity, and with your domain entity, né? And you work with your read database, read structure, you probably will use DTO, just a model class. So you don't need to work entity model, entity class for retrieve data from your database. And you can just update your entity model without broke your queries. For example, you can have, I don't know, a lot of queries for the same entity, and you can update this entity from your database. You will broke your queries just if you update column name or anything relation about what these queries are using. But usually, no, you don't, you will not broke your queries. So you have a lot of benefits to use CQRS without even if you don't work with two databases. So just in code, you have a lot of benefits. You can talk more about this today in the Discord channel, just for talk. I don't know if you are available, and we can write some code, some example codes. I don't know.
Yeah, good idea. By the way, guys, I proposed a daily on Discord at 5 p.m. every day. So whenever you can show up, that will be nice. Perfect. Any more questions, guys? Contributions to the topic?
If no one have, I have another last question.
Go ahead.
But anyone can go ahead if you have another question, because I already made my question.
No,
No
take it
one?
away.
Questions at the point at this second right now, but it was a good presentation.
Can you repeat and so your
Oh, I was just saying I don't have any questions for now, but I just wanted to congratulate on the presentation.
thanks. I was very nervous before, but well, if I don't try to use my English every day, I will never to be able to be able to work with other people just using English.
Yeah, you're doing great. So, Andre, your second and final question?
Okay. You told us a lot of reasons to use cqrs, but now I want to know from you a real application example of using cqrs. It can be an application that you have worked before.
Okay. Well, for example, when you have to work with well, a case that I've worked using cqrs. That's it, Andre?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
When I build the conciliation, I don't know if that word is right, but the conciliation system of Banco Neon, we modeling the system entirely using cqrs approach, because when you have a transaction happening in the bank, the transactions, for example, credit card buy, a debit buy. So is right, Gustavo? Debit buy and credit card buy.
Debit and credit. Yes, that's correct.
Debit and credit buy. So in this
Like
case,
a purchase, right? A debit purchase. In this case, it will be a
debit purchase. Yeah, that's the word. So in this case, Andre, we use cqrs because we receive these transactions, and we had to register these transactions for the directors to see how the bank is working in the real time. So in this case, you can understand that, well, we had service that it was a RabbitMQ consumer and listening a queuing, and well, this service got the transaction right in the database, and right in the database, the read database too, and the query project for transactions just read in real time. So that's it. And well, you can use this approach using cqrs in other many cases. For example, e-commerce, where you can register a new order, but you can show this order for many people for the customer that bought your product, your managers, your salesman. I think it's salesman. I don't know. So
Salesman, like the professional that works in sales.
yeah, that's it.
That's great.
So
And
I worked with. Wow.
Usually in this context, they say like sales representative, SDI, sales development representative. I think that's the term.
SDR. Okay. So that's it. I worked with CQRS in many cases, but in the on Banco Neon, it was a good one, and I can explain and model this solution before for you guys in other moment. But for example, at iFood, we use cqrs2 for some payment solutions, because you have, for example, you have to deal in different ways, from payment for register payments and retrieve payments. And for example, the iFood has a lot of applications, and one of these applications was well, for the restaurants, and other these applications are for the iFood managers, and you can show these payments for these two applications and a lot of users, and you have a different business roles to show these payments. For example, for managers, you have to show these payments with some data that will never show for the customer, for the restaurant. So in this case, you can work better with CQRS. You can register the payment that is sent from the customer app, and you have a lot of endpoints to show the same payments for different applications, different services. And for example, for payments in this case, we have the restaurant application, the manager's application, the manager platform, and I think at least five services that consume the same payments to show for other stakeholders. So that's it.
Awesome, guys. So I believe we can wrap up for today. We can finish for today. Alisson, we're not gonna do like any language breakdown right now, but on the Notion page for today's talk, we wrote notes for you specifically today, because so if you want to read them about pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar, they're all there and explained. Marcel also made a summary of an article about CQRS, and he posted on the Discord channel. I also copied that into the same Notion page. The Notion page also has a recording on YouTube, and you can share this link with other people, because today we went live publicly. Very good, guys. Alisson, congratulations on your presentation. It was amazing. I think this model was quite good, like bringing you guys to talk about a topic. Alisson, actually, I want you now to challenge someone else and pick a topic for that person to talk about.
Okay, I think André can talk about, for example, I don't know, event sourcing, because event source is a complement as a complement of CQRS, and we can talk more about the same distributed systems subjects.
Okay, André, do you accept the challenge?
Very good, of course.
Perfect. What's the topic again? Event sourcing, right?
Event sourcing, yes.
Okay, very good. So we're going to talk to André very soon about the date. Thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Can you show up just so we can take our classic picture? One, two,
O maluco
three.
tá na academia. Puta que...
I told you before.
Go.
I told you before.
Wait, I'm not ready to take the picture. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yes, he said he was in the gym.
Ai,
Just saying, biking.
That is dedication. Actually, you inspired me in there right now to go to the gym after this meeting. Thank you for the inspiration.
This is the
Hello,
only time
guys.
that I have.
Enjoy your
available.
Friday, and I will see you on Monday. See ya.
See
Thank you
you
so much.
guys.
Have a nice
Yeah.
Thank you
weekend.
for all.
Bye bye.
Bye.